Welcome to Seeker of Ascension. And I'm your host, Carrie Hermery. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Today, we are going to talk about the 6 selves that create our self-esteem. I'm so excited. Okay, let's get started. Humans are not born with self-esteem. You go, what? Yeah, they are not born with self-esteem. It is developed through our lifetime. Okay? Life is a journey. And as you know, you are an energy being in a physical body. So your energy being travels within your physical body. When it comes to Earth, it actually comes with a blueprint. And the blueprint is kind of like an outline of what the energy being must accomplish through the physical being. So this blueprint contains 6 self-esteems that you need to learn. And so when I say you learn it, it's through all your experiences, everything that you're trying to create here. Everybody says, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Your purpose is to get to know you. You know, I've said this before. Why would I want to get to know me? Because once you know you and you're aligned with you, what happens is the door to unlimited possibilities happens. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. So the 6 selves we speak about are self-respect, self-efficiency, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-assertiveness, and self-honesty. All these combined create your self-esteem. You know, when you think of these 6 selves, parts of you that you have to develop. So it's like a stepping stone, but there's 6 things that you have to do in this lifetime. And your energy being has created an outline for the physical being to create this self-esteem, to get it to grow. So let's talk about self-efficiency. What is self-efficiency? It's how we cope with life challenges. So how do you cope? Do you get really stressed? Are you calm? You know, most of us, when we have a challenge in our lives, and if we haven't been taught the right way to handle it, we create a reaction of how to handle it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not bad. You know, sometimes it's bad. So when you think of self-efficiency, it's how do you cope with the challenges that are put before you? Self-respect is number 2. That is, what do we want? Our belief of what do we deserve. You know, a lot of us in the beginning, you know, as children, we don't understand these concepts of self-respect, self-worth, all the different selves, because we're not taught it. We are not taught about us. We are just taught how to live in the physical world as adults. So what do you deserve? How do you feel right now about if someone handed you $100? Would you feel worthy of that? Interesting, hey? The third one is self-acceptance. How do you accept yourself? Do you judge yourself? Do you love yourself? Or do you do stupid things and say, oh my God, that was so stupid? Negative self-talk sits in self-acceptance. You know, when I started looking at these 6 selves, parts of us that we have to create and we have to develop, it starts to make sense why we choose the things we choose. Just look at your own life. You'll figure it out. It's pretty simple. Self-responsibility is number 4. Your choices that you make at this moment are your own responsibility. You know, these people that say, oh, it's not my fault. My mom was mean to me. Oh, it's not my fault. He beat me. Whatever it is, you're still responsible for your own choices and your own actions. So if this is happening to you and you choose to stay there, you are not building your self-esteem. You're not walking your truth. Number 5 is self-assertiveness. How do you honor yourself? You know, how do you honor yourself? If you are in that situation where you don't like your job, do you stick with it because it's a paycheck? Many of us do. So when you think of self-assertiveness, what do you do for yourself? Like, why do you think, let me back up. Why do you feel the world owes you something? The world doesn't owe you nothing. Nothing. The world doesn't owe you nothing. You owe it to yourself. All these selves is something that you need for you. So how are you honoring your needs, your interests, and how are you expressing them in a positive way? Self-assertiveness is really walking your walk. So if you say something that you're going to do it, or I don't do that, I do it this way, you have to walk in your talk. Okay? And the sixth one is self-honesty. And this is really putting them all together and being true to yourself. Everybody creates their own belief systems through other people. So in the beginning, when you think of self-esteem as children, we are trusting other people to help us, develop us, walk, talk, go to school, learn your ABCs, everything is your belief systems is created by your family, school, community. So when you are thinking of these self-esteems as you listen to this, how are you building your self-esteem? Like I grew up believing self-esteem was only one thing. It's not. It's 6 things that come together to build your self-esteem. So people that have low self-esteem, they don't respect themselves. They don't accept themselves. They don't take responsibility for themselves. They're not efficient with themselves. People with high self-esteem, they're a little better. And another one I did not understand or did not know until I researched it today is infatuated self-esteem. And that was a really interesting one for me because it's the one that it's a false self-esteem. It's the fake one. You believe you know it all. It's those know-it-all people. So when you think of all these self-efficient, self-respect, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-assertiveness, and self-honesty, it's everything you need to learn about yourself to create self-esteem. So when you think of self-esteem, it's just not feeling good about yourself. It's everything around it. Everything. So when somebody has high self-esteem, they are balanced. They know exactly what they want. They believe what they deserve. They are happy. They accept themselves, and they choose things in their lives that give them a positive reaction. And they're honest to themselves. They're not going to stay someplace when they know it's not right. And understand that they have needs and they need to be met. So, for example, you run out of groceries, you gotta go get food. I really love this topic about self-esteem. And when I started researching it, and it's interesting because when we look at the energy being, it's already aligned to who you really are. So the energy being has to get the physical being to a space where they can align. So your energy being and your physical being have to come to a middle to come together, and you have to believe in all these 6 selves, these aspects of you as whole, positive, understanding you. So people get trauma in their lives or dysfunction in their lives so they can develop these self parts of you that we are not taught. We are not taught about self-efficiency, self-respect, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-assertiveness, and self-honesty. We just think self-esteem is just one thing. It's all that put together. So if you have dysfunction in your life right now and you're listening to this, how are you honoring yourself? How are you respecting yourself? Are you allowing somebody to control you? Are you allowing you to just put blinders on and say, oh, no, that's not me. My life is just good. Because when you are not happy within your own skin, you are living your life through somebody else's perceptions, thoughts, and beliefs. And our thoughts and beliefs are created through other people in the beginning. But as that dysfunction kind of crumbles down, you have to start looking at your life. You have to start looking at your life. And people that are they feel like they're stuck, it's because they're not honoring the 6 selves. They're not honoring those 6 aspects of themselves to understand them as a whole. I'm going to go through them one more time. Self-efficiency, how we cope with life experiences. Self-respect, what beliefs on what you deserve. So your belief on what you deserve. Self-acceptance, how do you accept yourself? Unconditionally? Question mark. Self-responsibility, you're the only one that can make those choices, and you're the only one that can respond that way. So your actions are not created by anybody else. Every choice you make in this world, this day, in the past, in the future, only come from you, nobody else. Nobody else can do that because it's all within you. Self-assertiveness, you have to honor your needs, and your interests, but you have to express them in a positive way. And I said this before. So your needs, so taking care of yourself, having a roof over your head, having food, just acknowledging that you have needs and not putting everybody else first and you last. If you need a new pair of shoes and your kid needs a new pair of shoes, but his shoes aren't worn out, but yours are, you need to go and buy yourself shoes. So, and self-honesty. Really, when you look at this whole scenario of self-esteem, it's really about being honest with yourself. Your higher energy being, your higher self knows exactly what you need. And it gives you nudges. It gives you nudges to go in that direction. But if you have low self-esteem and you don't respect any of the other 6 parts of you, you're going to have challenges in that sense that you don't know who you are. And when you see confident people and you say, oh, they got great self-esteem, guaranteed they just didn't wake up and had self-esteem. They developed their efficiency, their respect, their acceptance, their responsibility, their assertiveness, and their honesty within themselves come to a point where you come into this world alone and you go out of this world alone. People come into our lives in this world to help us along with this blueprint. And they're not coming with us. The material things aren't coming with us, but your self-esteem is. Everything that you build onto your self-esteem will go with you into the next lifetime, because it's a part of you. It's the energy. You can't see self-esteem. You can't see it. It's your thoughts. It's your beliefs. Everything in your energy being is where your self-esteem stays. So some of you will understand this and some of you won't. And if you don't understand this, just look at each one of these separately and honestly ask yourself, where are you efficient? How do you handle life challenges? How do you accept yourself? What choices are you making? How are you honoring yourself with your own needs? And are you really walking the truth? What would you tell your friend about your life right now if they were in your shoes? That's the kind of self-esteem you're developing right now through all this chaos, this trauma, this dysfunction. Is just getting you one step closer to who you really are. That energy being inside of you is already perfect. He has to take that perfect being and create that perfect being and bring it into that physical being so the physical being can be aligned and so you can live a life of abundance. You hear Jerry Hicks talk about you have everything you need within you. You create everything. You really do create everything. So if you're got low self-esteem, you're creating that low self-esteem. If you got high self-esteem, you're creating that. If you got that inflated self-esteem where you're puffed up like a bird because you're really defensive, you're creating it. You create everything in your life, and it's building your self-esteem daily and how you treat yourself. So guys, hey, welcome and thank you for joining me at Seekers of Ascension, and I'll see you in the next one.